Hello, Grace, and this will be some final video feedback for you on the web banner. We've got 2 weeks to go. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Sometimes a text message is the best way to get hold of me, and again, if you have any difficulties or need some general encouragement, I'm here. I bid you strength. Grace, this is really lovely. When I first saw it, I thought of Arizona, of all places. Just the sky looked like that. So it's a different take, really, on a Caribbean resort. I like what you've done to the type, and although it's quirky, I like the typeface you chose. It's not, a corporate type, which is Arial. That would be a challenge, though, trying to get Arial to look as, well, perhaps even quirky. I wouldn't suggest distorting it, compressing it, but there are other ways that you could probably give it some of this character. But that's, again, a suggestion. You chose the type. I agree formally with your type choice, and that's really all that matters. And by formally, I mean that the forms, the shapes of the letter forms that you chose do really complement the background photography. And what would be a very plain ad is, I think, ornamented a little bit by the terminals of the letter forms. Okay, so is this enough information for a web banner? I tend to think so. The logo is a little obscured, I think, on that background. Perhaps we position it. And I'm going to take a look at your Photoshop file just to see your file structure and also your animation. The animation, I think it's relaxed, nicely paced. It looks like you've got some transitions between each of the frames, very gentle and skilled. Looping indefinitely, yeah, I think it's simple enough to do that. And I think the only issue I would take, is maybe not centering everything, perhaps sliding the logo over to the lower right so that there's more contrast and it's not so centered arrangement, since the background is somewhat asymmetrical. Grace, I see that you've got it, nicely structured. And you've advanced the timeline editor. Yeah, this is, they really don't vary that much. You have these stacked layers, and this should be familiar if you've used other video editors, right? Note down here, there's a option for an audio track, so you could put some, you could put some background music if you wanted to. That certainly an option, not necessary or required, and certainly not within the rubric requirements, but if you tended towards multimedia, by all means. All right, so you've done a great job. It's much nicer here looking at it in Photoshop, isn't it? So think about, there's various ways to compress GIF images. Some of them have larger palettes or color gamuts than others do. And to get these kinds of smooth effects that you've got in your Photoshop file, it is possible in a web banner to compress a GIF image in such a way that you get these smooth, gradations in the sky, for example. Good job, Grace.